Was the last fighter in our generation that's uh, a Hall of Famer, that got the biggest name in the sport. So, I chose to go up and weight and to actually try to conquer him from, all his achievements in the division. So why not? Well, it means a lot given the road that I had to take to get here, and all the sacrifices that I was had to endure. But I just look at everything happens for a reason, and I'm here now, and we're gonna make the best of it.
Go. But what is your prediction for September 13th?
A victory.
From shocking knockouts to sharp trash talk, Terence Crawford knows how to grab attention, but this time he's sending a bold stunt warning straight to Canelo Alvarez ahead of their massive showdown. Crawford isn't just stepping into the ring, he's setting the tone, letting Canelo know this fight won't be business as usual. It's personal.
Don't get careless in the ring, and stay sharp all 12 rounds. If it goes 12 rounds.
Crawford wastes no time setting the stage for why this fight matters so much to him. Right away, he makes it clear that moving up to face Canelo isn't just about another belt, it's about testing himself against the biggest name left in boxing. That sense of legacy is what he keeps coming back to, and you can feel the weight of it in how he talks.
Well, like I said, Canelo is the last fighter in our generation that's a Hall of Famer, that got the biggest name in the sport. So, I chose to go up and weight and to actually try to conquer him from, all his
Then, as the conversation shifts, he dives into how past battles shaped him for this very moment. It isn't just about the Errol Spence fight, it's about the journey, the grind, the lessons picked up along the way. What's interesting is the calm confidence in how he describes it. He frames Canelo's experience as dangerous, but he isn't rattled. He leans on the belief that his own path has prepared him just as much.
I'm not going to just say that fight is the only fight that helped me, all the fights along the way, helped me and prepared me for this moment. Canelo's a very experienced fighter. I have my experience as well, and I think all the fights that's leading up till now has played a part into me being where I am right now.
The topic turns to Canelo once again. That's where things really heat up. Crawford goes through what he respects most, and it's a long list. From Canelo's balance to his chin to his counter-punching, it almost sounds like he's describing an unbeatable machine. But the way Crawford says it, it doesn't come off as fear. It feels like he's sizing up a puzzle he's eager to solve. That's what makes this part so compelling.
Obviously, we've talked about you moving up a weight class to fight Canelo. You've talked about the respect that you have for him, but what it is about his style and what he's been able to do that you respect the most?
Well, I just respect him as all. He's a great fighter. He's, a good boxer. He's a good counter puncher. He's never, off balance. He got a good chin. He got good power. Got, you know, uh, good movement when he want to move. Um, what is there to not say about him?
And just as the hosts push him further, he doesn't give away too much. He admits he just needs to stay sharp, keep his focus, and not make mistakes. That restraint is telling. He's not going to lay out his full plan here. He gives you just enough to keep guessing, which makes watching him in the ring all the more exciting.
Right? What will you have to do to be your best version in order to get this victory?
I think just be myself and just don't get careless in the ring, and stay sharp all 12 rounds. If it goes 12 rounds, I think that's the only thing that I need to do, and make sure that in training that I sharpen.
Later, he calls it a once-in-a-lifetime type of fight, the kind of showdown fans can't afford to miss. With two pound-for-pound greats colliding and him chasing undisputed status yet again, he knows how big this moment is. The way he frames it, this isn't just another fight night, it's history in the making.
In this fight?
Oh man, I think this is a once in a lifetime fight. You got two top 10, top 5 pound for pound fighters fighting, going head to head for undisputed. This is my third upcoming chance to be undisputed in 3 different weight classes. You got Canelo's that's a great fighter in itself. You know, he's been on this stage numerous of times, and I just think that this is going to be a great fight for the fans to watch, and they don't want to miss it.
Canelo answers in a way that feels sharp from the start. He makes it clear that this isn't just about belts. It's about reminding everyone who runs the show. The way he talks about history, you get the sense he wants this fight to go beyond the usual hype and leave a mark on boxing forever.
You've been in a million big fights at this point, but does this one maybe feel a little different?
Not feel the same, but for me, I'm being in this position and this situation a lot of times. I think it's gonna be the biggest fight in the history of boxing because everybody's gonna watch it. A new audience.
There's also an edge when he's asked about respect. He brushes it off like it doesn't bother him, but you can tell he's using it as fuel. He insists he already knows he's the best, and you get the feeling that Crawford stepping up only gives him another chance to prove it.
You still have a chip on your shoulder, I feel, because people aren't giving you the same respect they used to after you have the performance that you know you're going to have, right? They can't deny you anymore.
I don't know, but I don't give a fuck too. So I feel I'm the best, and that's it. I don't focus on if the people say or put me in the first position, I'm the best. I feel I'm the best. I'm doing because I love boxing.
When the conversation turns to why he agreed to fight Crawford, he admits it wasn't always at the top of his list. But now, he calls it a big challenge and plays up the Mexico versus America angle. That alone shows how he sees this matchup as more than just two fighters. It's about pride and legacy.
I called Canelo out because, like I said, he the last great fighter amongst the era that surpassed us. This is my mega fight. This is my moment.
You didn't have much interest in this Crawford fight. You were saying that there wasn't much in it for you, and you pointed out that people will say that he was too small. What changed?
I think he's one of the best fighters for more fun. No, he accomplished a lot of things too. Mexican with the American fighter is...
He also brings up something interesting about styles. Canelo doesn't want a cautious running fight, and he makes it clear he expects Crawford to stand and box with him. You can hear a mix of respect and challenge in the way he frames it, like he's daring Crawford to prove he's not that type.
You said to me, I'm worried because when I fight somebody and they run, then I'm going to get blamed for boring fight. And then what happens?
That happens. To have a good fight, you need both fighters. Boxing is you throw, you get in there and move your waist, move around a little bit, but throw punches, get in there. That's boxing. But when you have one fighter like we saw with the skull, like running and running, that's not that kind of fight you want, right? And it's very difficult to close that waist and everything. You close him, he jump right away. It's very difficult. What kind of style is that?
The only running that I'm going to be doing is running upside his head, and I can assure you that.
Do you have any concern that there's going to be any running in this fight?
I hope not. I think Crawford is not that kind of fighter. He's a different. He box. And I like it.
Finally, when asked if he's chasing a knockout, Canelo doesn't hide it. He says every fighter wants one, but then he turns it back on Crawford's resume. He questions how many elite names Crawford has really faced, almost as if to downplay everything he's achieved. It's a mix of confidence and dismissal, and it leaves a clear message. Canelo believes this is his fight to win.
Are you looking for the knockout against Crawford?
I think every fighter is looking for the knockout. If they say no, they are lying.
You mentioned one elite fighter. Just one.
So when I beat you, is you going to be a nobody? When I stump a mud hole in your ass, is you going to be a nobody? You're going to be just like everybody else. Watch.
I say before, he's a great fighter. But if you look at his career, mention one elite fighter. I just say facts. I don't say anything like I'm lying or I'm facts. He faced maybe good fighters, but there's a difference between good fighters and elite fighters.
Changing my opinion, but at the end of the day, I lean towards Canelo because of the size.
Yeah.
But I know the size thing isn't so obvious, I guess, because Crawford is bigger.
Right.
Crawford is heavy, you know, like he carries himself, you know, he's very solid right now. He's taller, you know, when you see him the face off. So he is technically bigger. It's just the size it's very different when you carry that weight in the ring. Mm-hmm. That's what you got to worry about performing with. And, you know, just based off kind of like the performance at 154, although it was against a very solid fighter with Madrimov, I don't know if he's going to be solid enough, you know, just used to carrying that type of weight around at 68. So that's that's the reason I lean towards.
Eddie Hearn sees this fight as fascinating, but the big question in his eyes is how Crawford handles the jump in weight. Moving all the way up to 168 against a naturally stronger Canelo is no small task. Hearn remembers Crawford at 154, where he didn't even look the bigger man, and now he's taking on someone who's lived at super middleweight for years. That size factor could be the real test.
I guess the big conversation is how the weight will affect Bud and how he will respond to the size. You know, we got a situation where in Los Angeles, Crawford didn't look that big against the 154. In fact, I thought Madrimov looked the bigger, the stronger guy in that fight. I thought it was a very, very close fight, that fight. Now you're going up 2 divisions at 168 for Canelo Alvarez, who is, you know, a pound-for-pound legend of the sport. Against Skull, he didn't look great. You know, the movement didn't look great. I didn't think his legs looked fantastic.
But at the same time, Hearn points to Crawford's ring IQ as his biggest weapon. He believes if Bud sticks to being elusive, uses his movement, and frustrates Canelo with slick boxing, the fight swings in his favor. In fact, Hearn admits he leans slightly toward Crawford, even though Canelo will walk in as the favorite.
And I think if Terence Crawford decides to box elusively in this fight, I think he's going to really have success. When he gets hit, that's really the million-dollar question. How can he hang at 168? When you spend time with both of them, they're both so confident, you actually can't see him losing. Bud talks a brilliant game, and he's walked the walk continuously, and he has probably the best.
Even while backing Canelo as his guy, Eddie leans slightly toward Crawford. He thinks the slick style, movement, and ability to win rounds could give Bud the edge, especially early on. But at the same time, he says Canelo will walk in as the favorite.
Boxing IQ in the game. I probably, and you know, Canelo's my guy, but I probably lean slightly to Crawford in this fight, which, you know, me and you debated over a coffee downstairs. I know that I think you maybe go the other way, but I think that Canelo will be a favourite going in, but it wouldn't.
He also reminds everyone about the Bivol blueprint. Stay slick, throw in bunches, frustrate Canelo. If Crawford can turn it into that kind of fight, Eddie believes he's got a real shot to pull it off.
It'll be really interesting. I think Bivol really did set the blueprint of how to beat Canelo Alvarez. You know, what you do is you're slick, but you throw punches in bunches, you move into range, bomb, 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 out of range. You do it again, because Canelo's not that active. He doesn't throw a lot of punches, and he hates movement, hates it. Crawford's got, Crawford, to be honest, Crawford's got to probably make it a little bit of a stinker. Do you know what I mean? And just don't worry about the crowd booing like they do in America after one round. Like, you've just got to go in there and just win rounds. And I think Crawford will win rounds in those.
It's very highly anticipated, that Canelo versus Crawford fight.
Man, that's a great fight, but you're only as good as your last fight. And so we all know that Canelo didn't look too hot in his last fight, and obviously the opponent didn't help very much. He's a big guy, super middleweight, strong, solid. He's fought everybody there is to fight, with the exception of Benavidez, of course. But then you have Crawford, man, pound for pound, who I consider the best fighter in the world between him and Inoue. He's just a remarkable fighter, man. He's got the total package. He can switch from conventional to southpaw.
Recently, news broke that Canelo's new sparring partner is none other than Jaron Ennis. Teddy Atlas looked at Canelo's choice and questioned if it really makes sense before such a huge fight. He explained how, in his own experience, he would carefully pick sparring partners depending on where his fighter was in their career. For someone at the very top, like Canelo, he didn't see the benefit of bringing in another world-level name and risking unnecessary battles in the gym.
I would pick spots. When I had a young fighter that wasn't there yet, you know. The camps you're talking about, I was blessed. I had a world champion, or we were going to fight for a world title. We were already up the ladder. And we were fighting for the world title. We couldn't go any higher. But when I had guys at Gleason's gym years and years ago, of course, and I was bringing them up, and they were a young prospect, and I wanted them to get experience, wanted them to get confidence. I would pick spots. I would pick spots and put them in with a known fighter, a top fighter, as long as I thought my guy could handle a couple.
Atlas also connected this to the mental side of the fight. If a fighter like Ennis starts landing well or having better moments in sparring, it could plant small doubts in Canelo's head at the worst possible time. For Atlas, sparring should build confidence, not create questions.
I was able to go with this top guy, a world champion, and it gave me something to work with, to build off of that mental part of it, that emotional part of it, the confidence. So directly to your question, this is a whole different ball of wax here. You're right. When I had a guy in camp to fight for the world title, I'm not bringing another world champion in. I am not bringing another top fighter. I'm not getting into that ego stuff because it gets there. It gets there. I don't care what you say.
He made a point about control, saying camp should be built around structure and preparation, not ego wars. If you let sparring turn into a fight of pride, then your fighter could walk out of training with more damage than confidence. He raised the concern of Canelo possibly leaving too much of himself in the gym rather than saving it all for Crawford.
We're not getting paid in the gym. The old timers told me that years ago. You ain't getting paid in the gym, Teddy. It's there. The gym to me was a classroom. It was always a class. It wasn't an arena. I was in plenty of gyms where it became an arena. Oh, plenty of them. I mean, Philadelphia was famous for that. But even the Kronk. And there's nothing wrong with it. But I was not letting my gym become an arena. I always had a private gym, and we were getting ready for one specific reason, one specific match. I didn't need a guy who's going to try to show that he was better than my guy, that he was a world champion and he belonged to that spot maybe, or that he could put something on his social media that, he got the better of my guy. Again, and my guy is one of the top guys we're talking about right now. So I avoided that. I would bring in specific sparring partners that knew how to.
So that's where things stand. Canelo and Crawford are locked in for one of the biggest showdowns boxing has seen in years. The buildup has been wild, the camps are intense, and both sides believe they have the edge. When the bell rings, we will finally see whose game plan holds up under the lights. Let us know in the comments below. Who do you think takes it, Canelo or Crawford?